Hello, and thank you for listening in. My name is Mark Blatstein, the physician founder of Physician Presentence Report Service and Physician Prison Consultants. Today, I'm going to be talking directly to the healthcare industry, physicians, business leaders in the healthcare space. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO of a healthcare system, uh, if you are a if you do business, if you're a vendor to a hospital, to a practice, if you're a manufacturer, distributor, into the medical healthcare space, the Department of Justice has you as their number one target. And so let me start this off here. There's a lot here to get to. White collar providers are going to be the target, and I'm going to start by showing you here the memorandum, May 12th, and I'm just going to drop down very quickly because I have it spread throughout this particular production. Prioritization. To combat these harms, we're going to prioritize criminal justice division, waste, fraud, and abuse. I'm skeptical of that. DEI, I'm skeptical of that, but definitely they spell it out. Healthcare fraud, federal programs, and procurement fraud. Everything around here in the healthcare business sector. So to take heed, please do. And what is different is that Department of Justice has decimated, if you will, maybe 70% of those that were prosecuting on the criminal side are not there anymore. And so most of these charges are going to be civil. And while the charges start as civil financial, you still need to get legal advice, definitely. But take these charges seriously because a civil charge today can be a criminal charge tomorrow. And should your charges ultimately become criminal, it doesn't matter whether by plea or trial, consider giving me a call. We can chat. The first call is on me, 240-888-7778, engage my services. But the first call has no charge because if it gets to be criminal, it's pretty serious, as the Department of Justice has a 98% conviction rate. And what I just showed you here is the document and the link. Again, you can go to my website. And that is what I just read. This goes back to when it was owner of telemedicine company pled guilty. He owed $110 million in Medicare fraud, and he went to prison, and they probably won't see much of the money. Now they're going after the money first. The Department of Justice current telehealth enforcement actions, and they're going after opioid trafficking. And if I go ahead and do the link here, it's going to go right back to this Department of Justice document. Let's see if I link this correctly. And I did. They've been very busy. This is as of June 30, 2025. 324 defendants are all charged, $114.6 billion. So there's a lot going on, and they've been very active. This comes from Healthcare Law Weekly. This came directly from that particular press release from the Department of Justice. But medical practitioners, everything's going towards telemedicine. And these prescribing items and services to patients, sometimes it's not completely on the up and up, is that they've been being recruited through these telemedicine companies. And medical practitioners who are compensated based on the volume of the prescriptions written are going to get in trouble. Subpar patient engagement, and with minimal patient interaction or lack of documentation or examination, these are all going to throw up red flags that can get you in trouble. Internal controls, it's imperative to thoroughly verify prescription medications before dispensing them to the patient safely. This falls on the pharmacy. Compensation arrangements must never compromise the integrity of the independent physician-patient relationship. Key warnings: absence of that relationship in the first place between the provider and the patient. Then they're going after wound care. There's also problems there, and it's kind of like telemedicine. Charges were filed against many five medical professionals with approximately 1.1 billion in claims, but it's regarding amniotic fluid wound allografts. I used them in practice for a period of time, but I had relationships with my patients, and I was putting them on and taking them off as needed. I can read from this, but you can go right to the article. Just pull it up right here. Numerous allografts were reportedly used without any coordination. In other words, at one point, the distributor for the manufacturer went into the hospice nursing home, saw the patients, that maybe did or did not need the allographs told the nurse practitioner what to do. They put on, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth or millions, and eventually it got red flagged and everybody got in trouble. Inside the First Claim Act blog, this is another link that can pull up some of that information. Wound care is going to be in the crosshair of regarding these. There's these skin substitute investigations. Now, there's a need. Effective wound care is essential for patients recovering from surgery or managing chronic wounds, and it's true. People with Charcot diabetic infections or one type of wound. Advances in this treatment have led to this development of skin substitutes. But concerning regarding clinical efficacy, medical necessity, and appropriate use have intensified the scrutiny of the agreement signed between the healthcare provider and the distributor and manufacturer. It's not good. Unfortunately, there's a lot of honest healthcare providers that are getting caught in between this never land. Medicare has increased its review of this wound care billing, which they have been very upfront about letting everybody know. Telemedicine, DMD, or durable medical equipment, genetic testing, fraud. Again, it's all going to be digital and telemedicine. As digital healthcare delivery models continue to gain traction, Department of Justice is going to have its eyes it's not only going to be on the doctor, it's going to be on the nurse practitioner in the practice. It may be on the hospital that hires the physician for that practice. They're going to pull in like a fishing trawler in the ocean pulls in fish, as many as they can. It's likely that remote prescribing arrangements will not only be the targets for the fraud in this evolved landscape. And so they're also going to be telemedicine is going into it's being accepted into behavioral medicine, behavioral health. And so while this is a good thing, there's the potential for identity theft. Durable medical equipment. In the Southern District of Florida, owner of a telemedicine company and medical equipment companies were submitting fraudulent claims. I took from that particular recent takedown. It was $46 million schemes, $1.17 billion in alleged fraudulent claims to Medicare. There is a lot of money involved, and the Department of Justice is going after this civilly, and they want to get paid. And if you balk, it can turn into criminal. Big pharma, in the past, I don't know, 5-10 years, maybe a little longer, they were nicked criminally, and now they're being looked at regarding price fixing, kickbacks, that putting the Medicare program at risk. And pharmacy benefit managers, they're being put under the looking glass, as well as what's called, this was a new term for me, pharmaceutical manufacturer patient assistance programs. And these are programs that basically are allowing the patient to have financial assistance, but it's being used not in an appropriate manner where others are financially figuring out how to have financial benefit. So in your practice, risk adjustments need to include, comes down to how can you document the best? And I don't know what EMR program you have, but it needs to have clear documentation. In practice, especially with wound care, but with most care where I was able to, surgeries, what have you, I took pictures of all wounds every time. Thorough documentation. It's essential that documentation is comprehensive, clearly supports the medical necessity for skin substitutes, especially where there's advanced products such as cellular or tissue-based grafts involved, because some of these products may have limited clinical research, and backing their use, detailed notes on the patient's condition, treatment history, and the rationale for selecting these options are crucial. Otherwise, you're going to get turned down. Patient chart clarity. Each patient's medical chart should include this explicit reasoning why the standard of care was insufficient. Providers should articulate the unique aspects of the patient's case that necessitated the continued treatment with skin substitutes. And I may add that you may want to try and stay away from a standard but widely used template, because artificial intelligence is going to be used here within the Department of Justice. And if they pick up things that are repetitive in language, I think you can get dinged. It's important to be aware that local coverage determinations are going to be taking effect in January 2026. which will permit only 8 application of skin substitutes within a period of 16 weeks. These rules may not yet in effect, but be aware. Regular internal audits, continue conducting these audits, whether you're a single practitioner, a multi-specialty practitioner where you have multiple doctors, multiple specialties, you have a large hospital, or you're a hospital system. Conducting these routine internal audits on high-risk billing codes is advisable. It's a whole lot smarter and a whole lot cheaper for you to have either your own risk management individuals conducting these audits or counsel doing it, rather than to be dinged by the Department of Justice. And then reviewing agreements with manufacturers, because you don't want to have any semblance of having any financial relationship with them. Conduct thorough reviews of their agreements with manufacturer and distributors of skin substitutes. The evaluation is crucial for identifying and mitigating potential exposure to violations of federal or state anti-kickback statutes. It's crucial that these relationships with suppliers are transparent and compliant to all regulatory requirements to avoid legal repercussions. By implementing these strategies, you'll keep yourself from getting an ulcer, basically. You'll reduce your audit risk, and you want to keep the DOJ from walking through your front door. I hope you found this helpful. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. I'm going to have a second half to this YouTube that will be published shortly. Again, thank you for taking the time. Stay safe.